Alright. I'm back. Sort of. In Sea of Stars. Hating the experience. I am talking to myself. This is Talking to Myself Gaming. And you get to listen to me bitch about and make the best out of the situation, which is this horrible game. I'll try not to yell. I don't know what I'm doing, so I can't really tell you what you've missed or what you're returning to us experiencing. What the fuck is this happening for? I gotta stop eating. The moon shines bright, deep in the heart of Texas. So cliche Japanese thing because we're playing a game that's ripping off JRPGs. There's got to be a cliche Japanese guy. And we don't think that's cultural appropriation. We don't think that's stereotyping and racism. And I don't care. Okay. So does that not do anything? To what end did I just do that? Hey, sweetheart. Oh, because they needed to put a fight here. You've been going for a while. You deserve a mini-boss. Here, have a mini-boss. It's just such basic design. This game makes a case for AI being the ones to make our video games. So I don't get to hurt him. I thought you weren't here to win the day. understand why that didn't do anything. I thought I'll figure it out. My rat buddy Gowan heard me eating almonds and now he wants in on that action. Too bad, buddy. Do I have to do a certain amount of damage? I just have to survive until he does that. Lame. This is fucking boring. That had a 2. Fight feels like it's wasting my time. Now that's a 2. I know I'm not the smartest person in the world, but that was a 2. That did so much damage, it didn't even feel like I needed to know. It didn't even feel like I needed to see the end of the combo. They're just like, no. We're on a tight time schedule here. We got a tight time budget. Oh yeah, I forgot that you were even alive. Bruges. What's that spy movie about Bruges? Is it Once Upon a Time in Bruges? Bruges? I don't know how to pronounce that word. Is it Bruges? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? No. I don't want... Oh my God! I have not earned this, nor have I expressed any desire to see it. And now there's a head mistress. How old are they? I guess they're supposed to be like 26. Yeah, because 26-year-olds are so impulsive. I'm not allowed to skip the cutscenes. Oh no, I'm not editing this. You have to suffer through this with me. I literally do not care what they're saying. I'm skipping it. Don't care. No more Eclipse. Don't care. I'm just waiting for one of them to say they're bored. He fell asleep. Don't care. I'll always protect you. Fucking girls saying that to boys. I understand that you're trying to be 2023 and you're trying to be gender progressive. Why are we skipping time in a flashback again? Like, all you had to do was show day rising and we would have known that it's a few hours later. Would we have really thought that it's multiple days later that they're still sleeping there? Fucking annoying. They're back! Everybody's excited and look. Oh my god. I hate this so much. All Moraine does is lay in a bed hurt. No wonder these two had no belief in him. But anyway, the girl telling the boy, especially when they're both fighters, that she's always going to protect him is just it's so tacky. It hurts. It doesn't even make sense. Girls don't do that. Even the girls that are fiercely independent and don't want to be saved, what she was doing is going, I'll prove to you, you don't need to save me. And then be up watching him, not profess to him that she'll always protect him. All that'll do is make him resent her. He's like a 6-year-old boy. Unless he's supposed to be a teen, in which case they're supposed to be in their 30s. And we're betraying the order just because we're in our 30s. That totally is what 30-year-olds do, is just give up on life because. As a person who gave up on life as such, it wasn't just because. I had good reasons. And why do we have to participate in this war that we didn't initiate is most certainly not why I dropped out of life. Do I get to... There's just no gameplay. This is just an extended cutscene. But instead of being an interesting talky-talk cutscene where I don't have to actually click through the things and they just come up and they go because it's dialogue that I need to be watching, I have to keep hitting this fucking button. Later that year, and see, there are solstice festivals that we haven't been been shown yet. And children are born. Children. Oh my god. Children in this born are literally gifted on the solstice by the stork. Because it's a Saturday morning cartoon. There just are no sexy times. But also, that's what Terra's sprite looked like when she was a baby in Final Fantasy VI. So they have to have baby sprites because there was a baby sprite for Terra. More flashbacks that skip time. Their playtesters had the same question that I had. Wasn't that that fat ass raised with them? Well, this is why they're different. I guess fat asses aren't dropped by storks. This time, we didn't hear them talk the first time, so skipping this one. Yep. We don't get to see their motivations. We just get to see... We skip like a Saturday morning cartoon. Here's the plan. Oh, you got it. I'm totally in. Because heist movies, what they do is they don't tell you the plan. In political thrillers, what they do is not tell you the bad guys' plans. And Saturday morning cartoon villains never exposit their plans. Ever. They've never done that. It's not a whole trope about how villains like to stand around and exposit their plans. And so what? The one change that they're going to make to narrative exposition is not having their villains exposit their plans. They're just going to have their villains have no plan. That's better. That's so much better. This has no emotional impact, and it's pissing me off how long it's going. Look at this. There are loading screens. in the middle of this unskippable flashback. By the way, an unskippable flashback that no one in the party was having, and that the narrator didn't tell us. So they've lost their conceit of the narrator explaining everything that's happening directly to us, because we're now in real time. So the narrator can't step away from the party and soliloquy anymore. Soliloquize is the word. And a soliloquy is when, in a play or a musical, a stage production, when the character steps away, when a character steps usually to the front of the stage and a spotlight shines on them, the rest of the stage goes dark and they talk directly about their feelings to the audience. So now the storytellers, the developers of this game, have broken the way they're telling us the story into two narrators. They now have two conceptual gods. So now, if you want to tie this up into if you want to tie this back up into the things that I've talked about in the Talking to Myself podcast, now we're at the Catholicism or Orthodoxy versus Arianism Christianity split. Because this guy, right here, Purple Dickhead, is Jesus, right? But he's the completed Jesus. So in the mystical Christian literature, he is the Ancient of Days. He's literally the Ancient of Days, because the Ancient of Days is supposed to be an immortal human being who's lived in perfect harmony with God since the beginning of time, and he's the master and the... If you want to think about Christianity, because you absolutely should think about Christianity as the Jedi. If you want to think about the Jedi, the Master, the Ancient of Days is the Sith Master, and Jesus is the Sith Apprentice. So Jesus is Anakin, and this Ancient of Days, this dickhead, the Archivist, is Emperor Palpatine. But he's supposed to be our good guy, but... if this were well written, we wouldn't trust him. We, the player engaged in the game, wouldn't trust him, because we should know that Emperor Palpatine, his character archetype, is a bad guy. Untrustworthy. Because we've played the first Star Wars trilogy. But you see, because this is drawing its influences from before, not the first Star Wars trilogy, we've seen the prequel movies, but because this game is drawing its narrative influences from before the first Star Wars prequel, or rather before before this first Star Wars prequel, before the Star Wars prequel, it's not including what we now know to be true, because we've all engaged, well, not all of us, obviously not every living human being is engaged in the Star Wars, like I'm a damn boomer, but I think that I'm being clear. I know I'm not. The sudden but inevitable betrayal that should come in the form of this dickhead isn't going to come, because he's been presented to us as the Ancient of Days, as the Jesus before Jesus was born again. And we just watched these twin Jesuses born. So Zale and Valir are Jesus. They're yin and yang representations of Jesus. So Jesus and Mary Magdalene, if you really want to stretch the metaphor. But the developers are still God. So there are two narrators now. There's the narrator that is the Archivist, who set all of this up as the Ancient of Days, the Emperor Palpatine, who's pulling the strings behind the curtain. Again, a Wizard of Oz. He's a Wizard of Oz. But there's also the narrator that just forced us through this expositionary backstory, who is God, the God behind the scenes. So we're just at the Arianism debate, and they didn't do this on purpose. It's an accident. It's a plot hole. Every decision that they make introduces massive and unforgivable plot holes. I'm annoyed that they're reusing that enemy in the middle from the last spot. Because what I was about to say before that is I'm annoyed that they didn't have me fight that. Why didn't that one work? They didn't have me fight enough of the enemies in the last area to feel like I had gotten good at them. And I'm still annoyed from 3 or 4 episodes ago that they didn't give me enough of the tentaculous monsters to get my fill of fighting tentaculous monsters, but also that I wasn't able to grind a level or 2 of experience off of them. And games from this area, from the era that this game is aping, would give you enemies like that you could farm a shitload of experience from, so you could farm a shitload of experience in the middle of the game. And their reticence for you to farm any amount of experience and feel powerful is because there's no late game content. My characters, once they unlock their ultimate abilities, they're not going to get more powerful than this. So they don't want to give me too much experience, so I don't realize too soon how unpowerful I'm going to ultimately be. And I don't know if you know what a lie is, but a lie of omission is still a lie. I'm bored. The being able to crit your attacks and defend theirs, that's supposed to make combat engaging, but really all it does is mean that I can't take my eyes off of it. This is probably the way to actually advance. Yeah, it's gotta be because of the Super Mario of it all. You can't have a game that's aping the Super Nintendo era without having giant mushroom platforms to jump across that have faces on them, no less. If you don't steal from Mario, what are you doing? Like this, that her gear is always found in the dungeons, I find tedious. Max party HP by a lot. I'm actually going to give it to Fat Boy. I said I wasn't going to do that, but now I've just decided to fuck it. Fuck it! I'm not calling you fat. I'm not making fun of you for being fat. I'm being annoyed at the game for giving him one character trait. Fat. Well, I suppose 2 character traits, but fat and stupid just speaks to their stereotypes about how you become fat. Not their stereotypes, their cognitive biases. I should turn on, because I do agree with Glenn, that it is nice that this game gives you an indicator for when you actually get the thing. But I don't agree with his enthusiasm for it because it doesn't make the game a good game. But I'm finding myself being compassionate for him because what he's trying to do is justify his expenditure of time by telling you what's good about it on the off chance that even though he thinks it's a piece of shit, you might like it. What he's doing is being polite. And by shitting all over this and shitting all over you if you like it, and you can perceive it that way. I'm not. By shitting all over it, I'm trying to teach you what's bad about it so that we can maybe elevate the collective culture, like I was saying in last episode about quoting music and poetry in this space and talking about religion and philosophy and important things. Is maybe we can elevate the basic level of social conversation, of culture. And by we, I don't mean me and my thoughts. I do mean you and me. And in that way, I'm not yet discouraged by the lack of views. I talked in the normal pod, I talked in Talking to Myself about how restaurants can't expect to turn a profit for 5 to 10 years, so why would I expect to start being, it's probably that. They haven't had me do that in a while. Why would I expect to start doing any number of views, let alone get subscriptions, and shorter than that amount of time? So what I'm going to do until then is replace the work ethic that put me repeatedly in dead-end management positions. I'm going to replace that work ethic with this and post as many videos as I can manage in a day before cognitive and emotional exhaustion forces me to take an entire Sunday to myself. But I did that for 15 years as an employee of various restaurants. I have no problem doing it for you too. Oh, why did I choose that ability? I don't know what I thought I was doing. Why didn't that work? I don't know what happened. Every time. I can think of one time where I said, I know why that one happened. I would rather, though, on the indicator, that it do the little flare thing when you don't get it. That's why I turned it off. Because it's not helping me find where it is if it's only going when I do get it. If I'm getting it and I'm seeing it, then I know when the timing is. See what happens. Oh, so remember how I was saying that I appreciated that they made the stuff weak to him? In the last little area? Yeah, they've gone and made everything strong to him, so undo that. Every time. This isn't the first time I've said this, and I've had this thought, and it won't be the first time I'm saying what I'm about to say. But this fucking game is like every single millennial and post-millennial that has ever worked for me. In that, every time I say something good about it, I give it a compliment, it immediately undermines what I've just said. Immediately does the opposite of what I'm complimenting it for. It's not eventually so that I need to give it correction. It's I compliment it and it immediately backslides. Fucking waste of my time. And the reason that it frustrates me as a waste of my time is because those employees were also a waste of my time. Can't teach someone who doesn't want to learn. And this game doesn't want to learn from its mistakes. It doesn't want to improve. It just wants to sell. It wants to do whatever it needs to do for you, the the Kickstarter who's watching this and butthurt that I hate it so much for you to think that you contributed to the creative process. It just needs to do whatever it needs to do. And so that brings me back to, oh no, now they're strong against her. So this is just pulling some bullshit. This is just on some bullshit right now. Because I can't run. Remember that when combat goes bad, you're not allowed to flee. There's no oh shit button. Like, oh shit, I just did the one thing that I needed to not do in this combat. But no, there's no that. Nothing like that. And dying like that upset me so much. I don't remember what I was talking about. God, I just hate looking at this. I hate looking at this screen. Every time I look at this screen, I think about how... modern JRPGs made by experienced JRPG studios have actually started doing it to where you can have big parties, 8, 12 people like that, big parties, and everybody participate in combat in some way. And this game has just absolutely no interest in learning from or developing on the last 20 years of what developers, experienced quality developers, have learned about the medium. Everybody wants to be allowed to be allowed to reinvent the wheel in public for pay, and it really bothers me. It bothers me in large part because noticing it, that other people want it, makes me criticize my own artistic endeavors, because this is not Robert Longshore, my narrative work, which isn't a plug, there's a YouTube channel for it, but you won't find anything there, and there's a Twitter for it, but you won't find anything there. It's really hard to get Rob to work with me to write, let alone to record audio, and to get him to engage with Twitter is just a fucking nightmare. It's just too big of an ask. But the mistakes that this game and that these writers are making make me look at the mistakes that I'm making with my own work, because in a lot of ways my own work is me insisting to be allowed to reinvent the oral storytelling wheel. And why should you be patient with me through that process? And so that's what I'm asking of this game, is this game is trying to reinvent the wheel of the JRPG like we never played any of the games between Chrono Trigger and now. And I want to know why it thinks I should be patient with it. Why should I allow that? Oops. Why should I not see what it's doing and call it out as pretentious? Why should you not see what I'm doing and call me out as pretentious? Well, what does it mean to be pretentious? What is a pretense? Well, it's pretending. Pretending to be... So, a pretense or pretentiousness is the act or the quality, the state of being... of pretending to be something that you're not. And so, for instance, the pretentious tag tends to be attached to people like me who speak in poetry and lyrics and who reference cultural artifacts that aren't in the right now. That's what pretentiousness used to be. And so I can understand how we can get it twisted that someone like me, or that I, rather, not someone like me, but I myself am pretentious. I have no pretense. This is just who and how I am. I have no pretense to greatness or to being better than any particular thing or any. I don't have any desire on a claim to being. I'm just being authentic, my most authentic self into a mic, which comes off as pretentious because everybody that says that they're being their authentic selves is lying. And not even subtly. They're pretending to be authentic. And so why do I say that I am not pretentious, but this game is pretentious? Well, pretentious people they pretend to be like me. And this is pretending to be like a better game. It's pretending to have thought about itself. By reacting at different stages of the story to the questions that your audience has about the story as it's playing out, you're not writing a thought out story. You're not like answering their questions in real time isn't the same as being thought out. That's why American television from the last 10 years has been garbage. Well, since the internet, but really since Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and social media became a thing. Because message boards were always a thing, trying to guess what people were doing. Facebook is also a big contributor. The video essay. But writers and directors and these creative people watching the moment-to-moment commentary and the moment-to-moment fan theories about what they're planning to do, instead of having the work finished and gifting the audience of finished work with every piece and letting them dive into it and yeah, you know how it used to be. Maybe you don't know how it used to be. That's how it used to be, right? You used to watch it anyway. You used to watch it an episode at a time and be surprised every episode by the choices they were making. That's why finale, for instance, were such a big deal. But now the way that they do it is that they react episode to episode in real time to what the fan theories and the fan responses are. I mean, that's how some shows are able to survive. Like Parks and Rec wouldn't have been able to survive if they hadn't done that, because if they hadn't responded to the critique of the show by making Leslie Knope a likable character, nobody would have liked Leslie Knope enough to watch the second and third seasons, where they got to really like the other characters more. What does this want me to do? Okay. Why was I able to... I'm confused. I don't like this. I no longer remember what I was talking about. I'm heavy blinking and having trouble staying awake again. So wait, is there any difference? No. Wait. Does it do something special if they're higher? So wait, this is what it wants me to do. Not my least favorite puzzle. And then this is a jumpy, bouncy one like that. Not my least favorite puzzle. Not my most favoritist puzzle, but, you know, it got done quick enough. I only had to make one lap, so it was over fairly readily for you. Always good, I suppose, to think about the audience and their convenience. I don't mean that. I don't even mean it a little bit. I shouldn't even say things like that. I don't like that attack. That's hard to time. It lulls me to sleep. Both of those lull me to sleep before they hit. That's what they're trying to do. I'm giving them compliments. But yeah, you can tell at every step of the way that they built this sequentially and then shared it to their audience. Because every dungeon is a response to the last one rather than building upon. So the game never builds up. It's just constantly responding to itself, almost like a conversation with itself. So instead of having a conversation with the audience or telling the audience a story, which is what happens when only one person has anything to say in a conversation, they're just telling a story. Instead of doing that, it's just going to take me through its script. At this point, it's not even insisting on itself. It's a golden retriever believing that I've been gone for too long, wagging its tail and going apeshit to show me how it destroyed the living room. So that bridge is like a red herring? Or am I able to do this? Okay, well, they're good about that. Their dungeon design is at least good about that. What's this about? I wonder how long I can get away with not going back to Colony Island. The names in this game just piss me off. Colony Island, Mountain Pass, Big Mesa. Look, again, Valir and Zale don't make any choices. They don't do anything. Like, once again, it's the audience insert character who does anything. And heaven forbid Sarai do anything. Oh, it's her again. Same character model. Flowers and everything as the necromancer again. Alright, okay, so I remember now the Wizard of Oz setup with the three witches, the wicked witch, the good witch, and the neutral witch. Why would you do that? And because they're teenagers and they've never, heard a story, they don't know that this is a Sleeping Beauty situation. They're called pears. I knew you were the chosen one. This is gonna make me mad. The catalog of grandeur arcs. And then, yeah, once again, it's the Deus Ex Machina is why the story progresses. The story doesn't progress because she wants to help Zale and Valir. She doesn't even know who they are. She doesn't even recognize them as important to the grand arc of the time, whatever you want to call it. I call it the weave. They have no interest in exploring the how Valir and Zale actually fit into the weave. They even showed earlier that the Archivist had to yank them out of linear time in order to tell the story that we're listening to, because they failed and the world ended at the end of Act 1. Oh, and she's got it written down on a farmer's almanac. It's all good. Ethereal Occurrences Volume 2. So she's pulling out her oh, what's the word? Her fort. She's pulling out her book, her Charles Fort. Immortal Alchemist step forward, and he's shocked. He's shocked. Somebody has emotion? Fucking shut up. Like you didn't know. You fancy yourself a god. Told you he's the first Jesus. An elder of the forgotten race that's only now being introduced some 20 hours into the game. I'm shocked! Living glass. To himself. So again, speaking directly to the audience, notice that he walked away from the party. Now we get a soliloquy. This character is speaking directly to us in a soliloquy. Exactly what I said they could no longer do because he was a member of the party. They broke their own narrative rules. So again, there's a God above the God that's above the Jesuses. This is Arianism. But they don't know that. I'm angry about it because they don't know it. And she only helped us because the first Jesus, because the Ancient of Days is in the party. She doesn't recognize them as gods, as lesser gods, as Jesus. She doesn't recognize them as Jesus. She recognized him. A hero from a previous age. That would be like Beowulf showing up at the Longhouse or whatever it's called, to the mead hall, announcing, I am here to defeat Grendel, and the Earl or the King or whatever his position is seeing him and then looking to some old guy in the court who's beyond fighting years and being like, nah, I'd rather he did it. But you can go along. You can soak up some of the glory, and if he's feeling particularly generous, you might even be able to take all the credit. That's what they're doing to us. They're giving me the credit for what God did. Like, do you hear what I'm saying? Like, do we appreciate as an audience how terrible this is? How bad that is? This is why we abandoned Christianity in the West, in the United States, especially. But in liberal democracies, this is why deism won out, and we abandoned dogmatic Christianity, is because dogmatic Christianity wants to take away our choices. It wants to make everything that we do and everything that we say and all of our choices trivial. And look, I got this key through a series of dialogue. I didn't even do a quest. I didn't do anything for her. I showed up with the right guy in my party and the story continued. Like, imagine if that's how Skyrim worked. You showed up with the correct companion, and the correct companion you didn't have to do a quest for. All you had to do was a dialogue, and not even a series of dialogue trees. You just click A on them, they join your party, and then you take them. Imagine how dissatisfied you would be with the Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls experience. This is so bad. It's insultingly bad. We deserve better. Like, I'm not saying that this game needs to have dialogue choices. What I'm saying is that the dialogue boxes need to matter. They need to mean something. As it stands, nothing means anything. Nothing matters. I can't make any choices. Like, I thought that the game was going to be interesting when it said that we fucked up and the world ended because of our choice to go find him instead of brute forcing our way through the thing that we couldn't open no matter how hard we tried. I thought the game was being interesting and telling me that I should have explored the world and not just gone to the quest marker like in a modern game. I thought it was making a critique of modern games like the new Assassin's Creeds, where really all you do, you don't have to read a single text box, you can skip everything so long as you go to the exclamation points. Like, wow. Like, you don't have to know anything. I have never read any quest, ever. I have never read a single quest in WoW. That's not true. I stopped reading quests after the Varian Wren thing in vanilla ended in a dead end. So I quit reading quests around real time around level 40. But I was able to play the game all the way up to the end. I played I played all of the DLC of Pandaria. So from vanilla to Pandaria, I didn't read a single quest, but I was able to play in-game content, no problem. I was able to raid and be in in-game guilds, no problem. Now, actually, by no problem, I mean the problem that I ran into was I liked girls too much to actually play MMOs. So if a girl wants to kiss, I'm gonna go kiss a girl. I'm not gonna play a video game. Sorry, nerds. I used to have to explain that all the time. Like, no, my wife wants to go see a movie. I'm not raiding tonight. Some things are more important. Than how good your gear is. Says I, annoyed by the way that gear progression works in this game. There's a non-zero chance that this attack is going to end up being AoE and I'm going to wipe right here. Really thought from the way it was queuing up that it was going to be. They almost got me, sons of bitches. They get me with that every time. So yeah, in the last dungeon, Sarai and the Ancient of Days were strong against everything. So in this one, they're weak to everything. Because fuck a pattern. Oh boy. I'm in trouble. They haven't given me a campfire in a while, but they've spiked the difficulty of these fights. So I was complaining in the last dungeon that they gave me too many campfires and too much food. In the last two dungeons, too much food. And now I don't have enough. Fuck. Now I say that, and I might have come across a campfire and forgot to eat. That would be not unlike me. I shouldn't do this, but they're not going to attack for a while. And I need to do damage. Wow, that took a really long time to actually do the thing. Yeah, I'm like leaning to see around my microphone. It's not actually in my periph. I just... yeah. No, it didn't matter. I didn't see where it was. That's why I reacted the way I did. No, don't do that because she's... Damn. Damn! So they're just resistant to everything melee damage. And I don't have enough MP to hurt this shit, is what they're telling me. This is fucked. I'm making an upset face, trying to keep my eyes open. I think I might be speeding up as it starts to get real fast like that, faster than it is. That might be what's happening. I might be double tapping it before I need to be like really rapid fire clicking it. Five more of those and I get to level again. I complain about how frequently I get to level. I feel like a lot. I feel like maybe more than it warrants, but I end up doing that in just about every JRPG. I remember playing. It was especially a problem for me in Dragon Age 2. I can't remember if that one's got a subtitle or whatever, but that one I remember dragged at the beginning real bad. Well, no, it didn't drag just at the beginning. It dragged real bad for experience up until the end of the game. And I think that the reason that that's true... Did it just do it again? Drop me straight down on a... That's probably my fault. I'm sure that there's somebody watching this going, yeah, you're not going over far enough, or you're at the angular part, the part that's obviously indicating that you can jump off there, but not a big fan. Not a big fan of the fact that it will make that choice. Usually in these games you have to really work to get it to do the annoying thing that's going to make you run a long distance. You know, you'd think that whether that's clockwise or counterclockwise when I press the button would be more intuitive, because it is right-left triggers. I mean, it is exactly what you would think. Left moves it left, left moves it left. Don't. I see. These flowers, I mean, they've done it's a decent job that they've done with the moving of time thing. I just wish that We're in a better game. A game that actually addresses that it's happening and what it means. And, like, I don't know. I don't know how it could be used. It's obviously from something else. I don't know what. Maybe it's not from another game, but I don't believe that this development team is able to come up with original ideas. So it's obviously from a better game. I don't know. I was thinking about it, like, what influences does this game have that I don't know about, right? And that's probably one of them. That's probably from like Golden Dawn or something like that. One of those Game Boy Advance games. There was the Game Boy Advance that had the sun sensor or whatever, I think. I don't know, I didn't play it. And so whether you were out at night or whether you were out in the sunlight, it would be the game would play differently. Yeah, they're probably ripping that off. Because they can get away. That's one that I'm not even upset about. Like, if I'd played the game, I wouldn't even be upset about it, because that's one that you'll never see in another game. I would probably just be like mildly disappointed that this game isn't better, or doesn't do more to justify like it as a narrative, like more than just a puzzle solving element. More, it like doesn't do more to address it as a narrative element. It's just a gameplay mechanic. Mechanics aren't interesting. Not in story terms. It's interesting when you can justify your mechanics through your story, that they have a story reason. What? Dual attack. Why is it trying to... Oh, I see. Well, I guess I can stop one of them. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I miss the zombies and the ghouls. I do. I do indeed. As much as I bitched about them while I was playing, I'm like, God, I'm so bored with zombies. Zombies are the first thing that every bored DM puts his first time. That's the... Yep, I just said it again. I just noticed myself saying it again. That's the thing. Is that even if the game developers are veteran storytellers, this plays like they think I'm a veteran, or that I'm a newbie to games, like a new RPG gamer. And it's like role-playing game gamer, RP gamer. And it just makes me demand to know who their audience is. Their Kickstart audience were people with nostalgia for these games, so veteran gamers. So what, then did a whole subclass of people my age just refuse to play anything after Final Fantasy IX because it wasn't Chrono Trigger 2? I mean the PlayStation 2 era of gaming. That's weird to me. But it sounds like the kind of thing that's likely. And so they wouldn't know any better. They wouldn't know that this is trash. Probably wants me to go south out of this zone. Yeah, because that takes me to another zone that looks like it's going outside. And so that indicates to me that that's a story area. And what they've been doing is having me go like things like, oh, this is just to get out. It's just fast travel. Touch disappointed about that. Ooh, didn't mean to do that. What time are we at? Just across an hour. I mean, it does do a good job at its time management, but that goes to speak to its playtesting. Not its development, and not how well it was thought out, but to the fact that there was at least one round of playtesting. Because like that I didn't level again is upsetting. You should level 2 times in every dungeon. in every game. Minimum 2 times every dungeon. That should have given me enough experience to level twice. And if this that I'm coming to, I shouldn't have put more food in my mouth. But if this that I'm coming up to has encounters, I should get, if it's going directly to a narrative boss fight. Please tell me I can go back. Oh, please tell me. Okay, that was pretty neat. I'm actually going to do the camp thing. It should give me a minimum 1 level. If this is going to a narrative boss fight. But it should provide me with respawns, with enemy respawns, so that if I am going to a narrative boss fight, I can grind up a 2nd level, so I can be either equal to or plus 1 level to the boss. It should be my choice whether I'm underleveled. What do I want? I need food. Berry jam. What do I got? I got berry jam and a chaudray. And then what I want is AoE food. Okay, mushroom scramble. This is the one. Moon cradle fish pie. And then a hearty stew. And we are G2G. Let's get this party started, motherfuckers. God, I ate that. And you're saying that you hate listening to me chew almonds. I wish I were more sorry about it. I really do actually wish I were more sorry about it. But you know, if Simon can get away with it, I can get away with it. I'm a lot shittier at this than they are. I don't know how to feel about this other than that the music and the design makes me think of Ayla from Chrono Trigger. It makes me think of the prehistory. Trying to think of how I want to do this. So what I'm thinking is I'm thinking that I would like to ask the question, why this sudden Clockwork castle design, the Neufwanstein, isn't that what it's called? Neufwanstein? But the thing is, as much as I'd like to rhetorically ask the question, I don't trust that the game is going to have an answer that I want to receive. I think that the reason that this area looks the way that this area does, with a Clockwork Castle, is because this is what wild arms look like. And would they not be remiss if they didn't reference the first Wild Arms on the first PlayStation at this point, now that they're referencing Final Fantasies 7, 8, 9, and they've arrived at nostalgia for the early Final Fantasies? I mean, if there's a giant column, if I get a giant golem as a vehicle after this, I don't know. I owe myself a hand job. For being so damn smart. Cog prototype. Yeah. The cactuses are so cliche Western, this can't be anything other than Wild Arms. Because Wild Arms was clever in that it was a Western JRPG. Do you get it? Do you get it? It was a Western JRPG. No, but do you get it? I think that's pretty clever, actually. But anyway, they have Clockwork. They have these Clockwork giant mechs. So it's like what was that movie? The damn Will Smith movie, Wild Wild West, where they end up having like steam like Clockwork mech robots and shit and that. So it's like Gundam. It's like Gundam, but fantasy steam technology. Wild Arms, that is. It's pretty clever. It's pretty clever. I'm into it. I really liked it. I'd like a remaster of that in the biggest way, because that game you can dead end yourself by making the wrong choices in where you explore on the world map once the world map becomes open to you. And that game, if you want to talk about the illusion of choice and how much making choices in video games feels fucking awesome when your choices in a narrative game can result in game over, that game gives it to you from the very start. You pick your starting character, you go through their tutorial story, and then you do the other you do the other two in sequence, the choice in order that you want, and then when they meet up together, it's like 6-year-old mind completely fucking blown. I was much older than that, but I used to just play. I didn't have a memory card for a long time on the PlayStation 1, so it was what I could binge my way through all in one playthrough. And I love JRPGs, and so my parents didn't know that you couldn't binge a JRPG all the way through in one playthrough, and so they would turn my PlayStation off, and they didn't understand why I needed the memory card, because you didn't need a memory card on the SNES, and it's a whole whatever. But I don't have any problem with them having made those choices. But I used to just play the first 4 or 5 chapters of that game until it really opens up and you get access to the world map. I used to just play that for fun. I thought it was so cool. Oh, of course they're already here. Because it's a Saturday morning cartoon, the enemies are already there, but we don't get to know why or what they were doing. We don't get to catch them in the act. They're done. They're coming out to gloat. They're so many steps ahead of us, they're no longer playing chess. They've actually quit playing chess, and they've gotten up and they're just playing another game entirely. Like they're playing backgammon. Do you remember if I saved? Because I don't remember if I saved. I'm back to disrespecting and not taking this game seriously because it didn't give me a level before I had to do this scripted fight. And yeah, when I get petulant, I make stupid mistakes. That'll show the game. See, what bothers me about them taking my good characters out of my party is that now their locks is what those are called when they have the slot machine come up. Their locks are going to be super basic and easy to break now. Because I've got such a much more limited number of abilities that they're weak to. Oh, I should have. I should have done the thing on that. How am I supposed to break that? I don't know. I'm going to do what they want me to do, and I'll play it conservative. Oh, well done, guys. Like, why aren't they close enough? Is she gonna heal again? No. She's gonna try to fuck me up. That's why I healed her. I had a feeling they were gonna pull some bullshit like that. I don't know which one has more health. I feel like I've been hitting her more frequently. That hurt pretty good. I didn't even try. Just let him beat on me. He's gonna heal too. Watch. Total disrespect for Bruges. Should not have disrespected Bruges, she says. I hate this, like, duel. Oh, I did it again. I do that every time. I was gonna have to hit that a bunch of times. And that's why I made the choices that I made vis-a-vis selling out to hit her. I could have prevented him from attacking, but I no longer respect you, game. I haven't respected you to begin with, but I don't respect this fight. They made it too easy. This is script fight. Too easy. This isn't how you feel powerful. Like, making a boss too easy isn't how you feel powerful. Like, the only reason they got me low is because I made a mistake in my button presses. Get lost. Non-lethal. Wait, they left and now they're coming back out. Oh no, and then they went back in. What? Non-lethal confrontation. So this is not a mortal conflict. So again, Final Fantasy IX, when you fight Kuma and he continues to leave after every fight. It's because he's significantly more powerful than you are and knows who you are and is trying to get you as powerful as he is so that he can reveal secret information to you that makes you insane, and your insanity and the resulting violence will make you a benefice to him. Nothing that anyone is doing here is for a reason. And if they have reasons, they aren't bothering to tell us what they are. Like, this enemy's head is like a pocket watch. Why do they have pocket watches? Why is this suddenly steampunk? Like, can we pick a time? Even the alchemist, even the Ancient of Days isn't like wearing a watch to indicate that maybe there was a steampunk civilization, a Final Fantasy VI level technology civilization out there, some like at one time, not out there, but that existed at one time, and then all of this devourer or whatever it's called shit in some way ruined that civilization. They've not indicated that at all. Not with his design. They had a character say something that indicated that, but having a character say something cryptic to the effect of, you're part of an earlier higher tech civilization that collapsed 1,000 years ago, just saying it outright isn't cryptic, and isn't what I'm referring to. And that they're going to give me an easy level at the beginning of this dungeon, but not give me a second level through the course of this dungeon is going to have me bitching about how I didn't gain a second level through the course of this dungeon. I promise you. And that these fights are scripted and that I don't get my fucking orbs at the beginning is also highly annoying to me. Maybe I'm OCD. Maybe I'm an asshole. But I don't like starting battles that aren't boss fights without a significant advantage over my enemy. Because I make choices. And if you give me the opportunity to make a choice about my I don't know how you want to say it, about the fairness of a fight, I'm going to always choose to make the fight unfair. So taking that to me at random, it doesn't feel good. It's not a rewarding roleplay experience. It's annoying. It reminds me that there's a god with his hand all over this game. I gave up on religion for a reason. What am I supposed to do? Sliding block puzzles. Hurrah. Oh no. Oh, I'm not understanding what I'm seeing as far as the perspective. I thought that this... Yeah, I'm not understanding what I'm looking at. But that up there at the top middle of the screen is Magitech technology from Final Fantasy VI. This dungeon reminds me of Legend of Mana. Well, this previous screen. Hey, look at those guys I was bitching about not getting to play again. Clearly, I'm not the only person that bitched about how long it's been since the actual enemies that we're trying to destroy have been in the game. Like, this is the same problem that I have with Black Skylands. Is like, I bought Black Skylands because there's a big fucking Zerg on the front. And I thought to myself, oh, this is going to be Starship Troopers, but steampunk. That sounds like it might be creative and inventive and have something to do. And I've played for 4 hours and there's not a single fucking Zerg made it on the screen yet. I'm just fighting humans. I don't want to kill people. If I wanted to kill people as a pirate, I'd be playing that sailing era. That looks much cooler. If I wanted to play a pirate simulator, I would be playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Because I never have. And everybody says it's really good. As pirate simulators go. Maybe even as, I think people even say it's the best of the Assassin's Creeds. I don't like his attack. Oh, she's not even on. This is going to be impossible. Told you. Duck deedly doop a dup dee beat up. I bet I can kill it with this. What? I didn't mean to shout. I don't know what my shouts are going to sound like after the compression. I'm going to keep killing these because, first of all, mana, MP, but also I'm pretty sure I get bonus experience for every one of them that dies. I don't care about the damage. Wow, I didn't even get as much experience from that fight as I did from fighting 2 of those 8 hours ago. What have I been doing with her? She's pretty good for mana. I think 7 is her big one, so I could probably stack a little bit more. What's 2 physical attack isn't going to do much for her DPS. When it's really magic attack with her that I need to stack. I'm gonna go mana. First time watchers, I'm always going to call it mana. I grew up playing Magic Carpet on the PC, and it's mana. No, it even says mana on the screen. Kiss my ass. I don't know why I'm making it like you are the reason I'm insecure about it. I hate him so much, I don't care. I really have mostly I just stack mana anymore so I can use the abilities. Now when I step off of this, is it gonna... Lame. It's a pressure plate that doesn't need something balanced on it. Like, I wish somebody would learn the lesson about what made Final Fantasy VI the best and have split multiple personalities. Yeah, that too. Split multiple party splits so that... Because in 6, the big dungeons, you bounce... And not even just the big dungeons, the big set fight pieces. You split among different parties, and you change the parties to do the various things. Like so, it would have been cool if I had 6 people in my party, 2 parties, and I could leave the inactive party down there on the pressure plate, and then my mobile party go up and explore the rest of the dungeon while and getting into random encounters, and then the other group doing puzzle shit. But no, we're not playing a good game that's learned the lessons of why the old games were good and what they did that was fun. We're playing a bad game. A bad game that's not fun. Now I got a key for that, but this doesn't let me interact with it. Did I not get anything for coming in here? Did I not finish this? Okay, so I can't aim that at the right angle. So maybe it's... The perspective on this floor and this room is really hard for me. I didn't realize that this wasn't upstairs for a long time. What happened to the block? What did that do? What is that doing? Why did I do that? What was the point? I don't see anything changing when I do that. Well, this one's got me stumped. This one's got me all the way stumped. Pull that. Push. Push. Fit that. I mean, as Clockwork Dungeons go, that's a pretty cool little idea. But what does this do? Aha! Never had to do that before. I don't feel particularly rewarded for being clever for figuring that out, but yeah, I did it. Never had to do that before. Usually they're timed when you hit it once and it starts to wind down. Garden key. Again, with the elaborate security systems. Like, they have all this real estate and they have all this money, like they're the Winchester heiress. She wasn't an heiress, she was a wife, but... And then the clocks to remind me that it's a clockwork. Just like, well, we've got all these clock assets, we may as well use them. Okay. 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 And then this obviously is going... Okay. Oh, goodness. I thought that was empty space. Okay. Okay. So 2 red herrings. Oh, I'm way overthinking this. I gave that sliding block puzzle way too much credit. Okay, so this is, like I said, usually it's like this. It's timed. But what is it dropped that one in the middle? Okay, I thought that was still raised. And so when I pull that moves that out, which means that when that's done, that's going to go up, and then I can do that. And then that means that when I do this, I might have just fucked this puzzle. It opens the door. False. Makes a platform. That's not a door. more just clocks. Okay, so what I'm going to do is save. It's been an hour and a half. I really don't want to talk to these people. Right. I bitched about that and then forgot to equip it. I don't want to know what it means that he uses a cork. I don't know what it means, and I don't want to know. Do not care. Don't want to know what the answer is. I don't know why no one is wearing that, but I'm not that mad about it. Of course his name is Kale. Why are these people even here? Again, I talked about this in the last, not even the last episode, maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago, when I was talking about how Final Fantasy VIII, all the NPCs that you can talk to, they all have flavor dialogue, and some of the flavor dialogue, look, it's not Valir and Zale talking and advancing the story. Once again, it's Garl insisting on his role in the party. And she's like an old version of the wizard character. She even looks like the mage character from the game that came after Tales of Symphonia. Except instead of being a feisty, sexually aggressive 16-year-old, she's a 70-year-old. The time prison. This is a time prison. That's the gist. Let's get this over with quickly. We would hate to waste your time. We came to confront the acolytes. Oh. Well, here you go. You can open this door. You don't have to do a quest for me or anything. I'll do all this stuff for you real quick. What makes you think you can defeat a dweller? Well, we've done it before. I don't know why we didn't start with these two are solstice warriors. Like, fuck, even the first Final Fantasy gets this right. Everyone you walk up to, you're like, we're the warriors of light, here are our crystals. And they're like, oh shit, well you've only got X number filled, you must be still on your way. This is where the closest one is. And they're just gonna give me her ultimate ability now. Nope, not even that. I'm annoyed that her name is Kale, because I didn't know that Kale, Kael, was a cliche magic sounding name, and KL is the name of my fantasy archer archetype. And was the name, KL was the name that I gave my, his name was actually KL Danael, but that was the name of my, ranger, my wood elf ranger in, EverQuest. So it upsets me that kale has become a KL or kale has become a cliche, or is a cliche, was a cliche before I didn't know that I was inventing that name. Kind of like I can remember, I think about this frequently. I can remember coming up with the idea of saying dang instead of damn as a kid. But I obviously didn't invent dang. I'd obviously heard it and suggested it to a friend like I was clever. I just didn't know I'd heard it. How? Okay. So again, with the perspective, this doesn't look like it's on the same level. And I'm sure because they have like a, what? Isometric builder, they know, because the builder knows where the Minecrafty blocks are, but my eyes don't. That even made like a "you did it" noise. It doesn't do that every time. Okay. I guess I want to ascend the tower. I guess I forgot that I'm playing East. And Persona 3. Okay, now is this one of those situations where, nope. Tedious sliding block puzzle. It's just like rigmarole. It's just busy work. Like there aren't even like, again, no random encounters means there's no threat. I haven't even run into an encounter, a combat encounter. And again, if I'm playing, even if I'm playing D&D, I'm annoyed by the lack of combat encounters. I'm annoyed by, it's not that I'm annoyed by the lack of fighting, like I'm some kind of violent brute or whatever. I'm annoyed by the lack of opportunities to get experience and make my character better. My characters, because they don't speak and I don't get to role play as them, aren't developing. And they knew it. See? They noticed it at the same time that I did. They're like, oh shit, we've gone through a bunch of dungeons without giving them a combat encounter. We should give them a combat encounter. And this is why scripted combat is my least favorite. And why I can't keep chained echoes out of my head. Out of my mouth. Oh, shoot. $35,000? Wow. The experience necessary to level goes up a lot. Da da da. It's always that way. It is always that combination in these games. Always. You don't get to boss me around. I'm allowed to talk to myself, dog. And see, now that I know, it's not interesting that it's 2. Yep, East. See, it's not even interesting. It's not even as interesting as Persona 3, because Persona 3, the combat encounters that you get into at every level of the tower are seriously dangerous, and you will wipe if you're not careful and smart. Can I jump? See that? Why is that scripted? Why aren't these close enough that I can hit all three? How are these two that I'm able to target further away than these two? Doesn't make any sense. It's upsetting and I hate it. Shoot, that was my fault. I panic clicked. I thought it was going to come a lot faster than it did. That's what she said. Having trouble keeping my eyes open again. It's almost like they know that their combat is boring and we find it tedious at this point. And that's why they don't want to give us too many combat encounters. But they also have to give... What is this? Is this a ladder up? What is this? What is this? This is a ladder. Tedious. I like these when they take some time to solve and you have to really think about it. But this is just tedious. From back and forth, one side to the other. Like, I get no satisfaction out of this. Why did that? So that I'm not tempted to slide the thing away? That's not a reward. So this room was optional. Fuck. That's not exciting. Optional rooms aren't exciting. Like, making me do this slow traversal now. Like, those could crumble or something. Something. If you're going to make me do platform sections, you could make it interesting. Even visually. Like, that's why I shat on it in the first episode when the first scripted... the second scripted combat encounter is following you around. Because they're not going to do that anymore. I could have almost predicted that would be the last time that it happened. If I didn't, in fact, predict that would be the last time it happened. Not that it has, in fact, been the last time. But I could have predicted that it's going to be so long from... It's going to happen so infrequently that they did that is just laughable. They're not going to do it every dungeon. They're not going to do it multiple times a dungeon. And so walk into a room and the monsters are surprised and attack you thing. It just punishes me for being good enough at using my grappling hook that I get the advantage. I get combat advantage at the beginning of every encounter. And that's DM's nightmare and Dungeons and Dragons is giving the party either the combat advantage or a bonus round at the beginning of every combat. It makes combat trivial. Did I do something wrong? Did I upset the game that this isn't anything? Or have they just decided that this is as tedious for them to continue designing as it is for me to play? What did I do here? So yet another optional room. It couldn't have been optional. It had to have unlocked this elevator. Please only be three floors tall. Maybe 4. 3, please don't make me do another of these. There's not enough, you're not giving me enough experience to feel like this is worth my time. And see, like a good game where you can climb on the scenery would have something hidden above the door and a way to get up there. But this is from the Ark Survival Evolved school of game design, where we don't hide anything and we don't want you to explore. I really wish that would have hit him and he would have reacted in that way. Hey, somebody other than Garl spoke. Is the watchmaker a girl or just another annoying dude? He's the what do they call him? The Phantom Mask, maybe, from Sailor Moon, but a clock guy. Hey, wait, didn't the Phantom Mask, wasn't he a clock guy? Didn't he do the thing in front of the clock the clock tower whenever he introduced himself? What peculiarity? No peculiarity. It's like, what, I guess it's like 11:45. And he just gave me what I wanted because I showed up. Oh, but he'll play me at wheels. No, absolutely not. I don't want to play you at wheels. What's this purple thing? Why is there a bright-ass purple thing right here? Because there's a bright-ass purple thing right there. And nothing to steal from his clocks. Nothing to steal. Nothing to loot. No point in coming here. No point in any of that. No boss fight. No quest. No even triumphant Zelda music. It's like they've never played a video game. It's just like they've never played a video game. No point in any of this. It's like they've made their... It's like they're realizing that they made their story too long and too drawn out, and now they're trying to race to the good parts. How do I get over there? I probably don't need to, do I? Alright, Carl, what do you want? Yes, I got the fucking stupid key. Hey, look at that. Valir and Zale are speaking in this scene. Why does it make me pick from a list of items when those other items in that list never are the thing? Like, I don't even know what that fucking cookie jar's for. I don't remember where. I mean, I obviously picked it up early. Oh, it's a heart. Because, again, we have to have creepy horror elements because they want this game to be a creepy horror game. And so we just did a Saturday morning cartoon in a clock tower, and now there's a giant heart in the middle of the floor because that's what Final Fantasy VII did with Genova. You got a bigger problem to worry about over here, you creeps. Yeah, that was very dramatic, Valier. And I like how the narrator just is off screen for that whole scene. Heaven forbid. I cannot believe I didn't prepare for this fight. They didn't give me a save point, so I just was not expecting a big set piece fight. So the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to get to do massive damage to me. Totem. Man, their attacks take a really long time to do. This is taking a really long time. Again, newbie DM mistake. Letting the enemy get to stack a bunch of attacks on you all at once doesn't make you feel powerful. At this stage of the game, your most important, what you're most trying to do as a DM is make your party feel powerful. That's your only goal at this point. This fight's thinking to itself, oh, it's not that bad. They've got a bunch of AoE abilities. They're gonna be able to stack them. They've gotten pretty good at the defense mechanic. Oh yeah, look how weak they are. She's tough. Okay. Well, that just answered that, didn't it? I don't know what the question was. Yes, it was. Yes, I do. It was, who am I stacking damage on? Why doesn't that always work? I could have put in what's-her-face and made it so that he didn't get to attack again. I don't know what the double arrow means. Course. Of course they have a healer. Why wouldn't they have a healer? I gotta remember that she's the healer. You'd think that it'd be pretty obvious, so I'm gonna have to treat this like a 4v4 PvP situation, and I gotta get rid of the healer. The rogue is gonna fuck me up, but I gotta deal with the healer. She's gonna make this fight impossible. Good to know that that ability that they just gave me is useless. Remember I was talking about how they were feeling insecure about moving enemies around on the combat board? And about how their AoE worked? So he's useless. Why can't I hit all 4 of them? That's annoying. I'm risking a wipe with this choice. I don't know why she got to attack twice. Yeah, I'm gonna wipe. I'd really rather do the moon shoe, but I need my peeps to be alive. I just handled that like I meant it to go that way. And then this long ass attack. I really can't skip it. It's like watching the Knights of the Round during the Sephiroth fight. It's just the memeiest way to do that fight. It almost becomes inconsequential. I'm actually annoyed with my choices. By killing the archer, well, never mind. By killing the healer first, I was going to say it made it so that... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was going to say something I don't remember. Oh, I couldn't use my melee or my sun flare to do AoE damage, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to obliterate this now. You just got to be able to survive the initial flurry and kill the healer. Then it's easy. 14,000 was a good amount of experience for that. They know that they didn't give me enough experience going into it. So that was supposed to be like an egg. And then we just run upstairs. Into the belly of the beast. But I haven't gone into the mouth yet. What was 90? Do I have the 90H? Why is it down here? Because I can't make it. Alright, that's 2 hours. Thank you for watching this episode. This has been Talking to Myself. You've been listening to Talking to Myself Gaming, and I will talk to myself at you again soon. Thank you very much.